This game features probably the most egregious thrower I've ever had. You can see that I went 18 and 14, which of course is not great. I definitely did not play my best this game, but at least I actually played the game. Guess which person on the team ruins it for everyone else. It starts like every other game, and I feel like playing Loki. Pay attention to this person's bans and the fact that they didn't preview their character. We're gonna call this person the loser. Since our team has me playing Loki and an invisible woman, I vote to ban Daredevil. The loser wants to ban Groot. I don't really agree with that in general because I think Groot has clear counters. Also, we don't know what the loser will play, that would make sense for them to ban Groot. I'm gonna keep on banning what I want, and my other support agrees with me. Fortunately, the Daredevil ban goes through, and the other team bans the dinosaur anyway. The loser tries to ban Groot again, and I vote for Spider-Man. Slightly selfish ban, but nobody that plays support likes playing against Spider-Man. Nobody else on my team voted this time, so it's a 50-50 between me and the loser. I win the coin flip, and I decide I want to go 3 for 3 on selfish bans. Lastly, I vote for Moon Knight, but you can see that the game is already over because the loser tries to ban me. Why you would want to ban your Lord support that's going to heal you, I do not know. Thankfully, my teammates vote this time, and Moon Knight goes through. Since my character isn't banned, I proceed to go Loki. Unfortunately, the loser goes Widow. This game took place in Season 8 before her rework, by the way. Me standing still for a second there is me typing, "Nice try" in chat. And the loser specifically says, "We're not winning this game." I'm still feeling alright about this game since all my bans went through, so I'm gonna try to ignore the loser and hope they switch later. So, I'm walking to point, ready to play another game of Marvel Rivals, failing to set up my clones. As we all do. Okay, one more. Got it, okay. And then me standing still right here is me saying something like, "Find your heal somewhere else. Don't expect heals from me, If the loser's not gonna play like a teammate, then I'm not gonna worry about healing them anyway. Quote unquote people like this are the reason this game is so hard to solo queue. Half the time it feels like you're fighting your own teammates. But all I'm gonna do is try to play my best because maybe the loser will switch at some point if we start winning. I'm shooting into the crowd and healing, nothing crazy happening right now. We're on triple support, unnecessarily in my opinion. We didn't really need a white fox here, but whatever. Iron Man is looking at me, so I gotta go invisible for a second, heal myself a little bit. But my tank is low, so I can't even stay in that state for long. Right now we're holding it, but then Phoenix ults, and so we're taking a little bit too much damage right now. And I decided to copy White Fox ult to try to push the point, but I get nuked by Iron Man, and so I die. After I die, I switch to Blade because our only DPS is useless, and our triple support didn't work for that first point anyway. I walked out and died instantly because I was getting chased, but I should have waited for my team to come back. I insult the loser again before leaving spawn and actually wait for my team to go in this time. You can see we're about to have 3 ults, so we should be able to win this next fight. Everyone dumps ults, and I try to do something, but I get hit by Emma ult, and now my Sue ult is over, and so Emma's chasing me off the point. She tries to finish me off, but if Emma doesn't have diamond form, I'm always going to win this 1v1. So even though she gets cooked and they're down a tank, my team is dead again, so I just walk up and die. My Star-Lord has ult, and that pushes them back a little bit as we cap point at the last second. I try to follow up on that by attacking the Phoenix and the Emma, and I just get my ult as they portal behind us. I ult straight into their portal and kill 2, so they ended up wasting it. There's still 2 minutes on the clock, but we're not doing that horribly right now. As the enemy team walks back up, both my other DPS die somehow, so now it's looking bad again. All I can do is back up here a little bit because I'm taking damage from Iron Man and Phoenix. I try to push, but I can't really do anything, so I die. That gives them the point with slightly under 3 minutes left on the clock. You can see on the scoreboard that nobody's doing that great, but the loser is absolutely keeping their promise to throw this game. I could have went tank, and that maybe would have given us a better chance at winning. I'm doing the best out of our 3 DPS, and I'm not even doing well. We're up right now since they're down a DPS and tank. Iron Man only ults the loser anyway, so he basically wasted it. I try to fight Doctor Strange, but I get cooked because both his healers are behind him. The supports on both teams are using their ults on point as I walk back, but I can't do anything until Luna ult is over. Then by the time I even get back, my team just gets disintegrated because our Sue ulted too late, so I just gotta die here again. Another scoreboard check. Everyone on my team is still doing bad. Even so, it's definitely possible to hold them with less than 90 seconds left. Also, I have to spoil and say this rogue was doing the best on our team the entire game, so I can't blame her for trying. I rush back to the fight and we finally get to clear their team off the point. They have the portal to make it, and I have my ult again to try to get them as they're coming out. I back up to anticipate the portal and pop all right on point when they come out, but this time I didn't get any kills. It's not looking good since they have Sue and Thing ult, but I do manage to back up in time and hide to get healed. I chase Thing off point so they see 9 and we end up holding it despite the obvious handicap on our team. End of round stat check and the whole team still sucks. Like I said at the beginning, this is not good gameplay for me since I kinda gave up already. My other DPS is also borderline useless and they're actually switching characters and trying in general. Still, us holding that last point gave me a newfound hope and will to win the game. You would think that even a mentally unstable person like the loser would see that this game is very winnable despite their hardest efforts and switch off Widow by now. Unfortunately, you and I would be wrong. Their ego is so fragile, they would rather give up in the van phase than play the team game that they loaded up to play. I go around to poke their backline since we basically have no front line already. I steal a kill on Strange and my rogue is already touching their supports. My Iron Man is actually doing something now and you can see that the loser accidentally kills Strange. We kept the point with 5 minutes on the clock and things seem to be turning around for us. I don't remember what I was saying here, but it was probably an insult. I get greedy and try to go straight for their backline to help my rogue, but I get cooked because they switched to Namor. You can tell the enemy team is getting a little bit nervous. I push this Phoenix a little bit, but let her run away because now that we're winning, I can't be dying for no reason. Thing is all alone, so I shoot him in the back and I start to guard the main entrance to the point. The loser presumably ults air while Rogue and I hold the enemy team back. Namor ults but gets nobody because I blocked. Then I ult into the doorway with my gambit and end up killing 3. That wins us the point and we again cap it with 5 minutes to go. So now you might think someone with half a brain would want to win this game with all the time we have and get off Widow. Unfortunately, the loser has less than half a brain and anything that should be there has been replaced by dirt and hatred. Stat check and I'm starting to look like I'm actually doing something, along with my Bucky. Shout out Rogue for managing to be useful the entire game. Strange initiates the fight with his ult and we counter with White Fox, and they countered that with C&D. Nothing I can do through C&D ult, and I get cooked by Lunar Freeze anyway. As you can see, the enemy team went triple support because they're actually scared of losing this game. Everyone else on my team died, so we have to regroup. I steal a kill on the enemy blade as we start walking out, but we're down 2. Still, I at least try to get on point and fight Strange, but now that they're on triple support, he's gonna be unkillable. The loser accidentally gets 2 kills with their ult though, so we can move up after I get back to point. They portal early here and pop Luna ult, so my Gambit uses his so we can fight through it. But since they're in triple support, they also have Sue ult right after, so nothing dies. All I can do is try to live until Sue ult's over and push up with my White Fox. After all that chaos, we end up killing their Luna and Strange, but you won't believe what happened next. There's another support ult to stall point. Half my team is gone because of it, so we lose that fight. I should have hid, but I do touch point slightly before running away, and surprisingly lived long enough for my team to get back. Once we regroup and get back to point, I try to fight their Strange again, but he's immortal now, so I die. Then the enemy Phoenix nukes my backline, and Mr. Scruffy is starting to look like he's throwing just like the loser. By this point, we only have 90 seconds left, and I'm getting worried again. Their triple support is making it impossible for me to do anything, and both my other DPS are in a competition to see who can do worse. When I'm on point, I try to ult to push them back. As you just saw though, I genuinely got evaporated before my voice line even came out. Now, I will admit this was a bad ult because I should have charged it up behind cover before going down that lane with literally the entire team looking at me. Our Gambit has ult before any of their supports, so he should have just used it now while I was on their backline, but I got frozen. There's only 30 seconds left and something needs to move. Me standing still right here is me explicitly saying, don't double ult. Then guess what happens? Before I even leave spawn, they double ult. Nothing I can do but the fact that nobody uses their mic or even type something like you first or me first in chat. That mistake wins us that fight, but now we're going to have no defense against their next 5 ults coming up. We have barely enough time to push cart because they're not portaling, but the enemy blade touches point. I can't really stall because of everything they're dishing out right now, so I die. Everyone starts ult dumping and we have nothing to compete with, so we lose 2 meters away from the finish line. After the game is over, this goober has the nerve to say blade diff in chat, as if it wasn't a 5v6, and he switched off his actual characters Iron Man and Namor. People don't seem to know what diff means anymore. To rub even more salt in the wound, the loser says, I told you we weren't winning in chat, as if we didn't almost win in spite of them. First of all, that quote-unquote person sucks, and they shouldn't be allowed to play this game. They shouldn't be allowed to play any online game in which you interact with other players because people like that get on the game to ruin everyone else's experience and waste our time. I reported them, of course, but they never got banned for this game. Remember how this all started because they didn't get their Groot ban? Look at that. Nobody played Groot anyway. This entire game was a waste of 20 minutes of my life. It almost would have been better to leave the game, but I'd lose more points because of it. How unfortunate is it that the experience for so many players is that it feels like their own teammates are working against them? Whether it's blatant throwing like this, refusing to switch into bad matchups, or no communication, this game is made unenjoyable by its players, hardly by the game's design itself. Second of all, despite all the buffoonery during this game, we almost won, but my team was basically fighting a 7v5. Arguably 8v5 because Scrubby unfortunately kind of sucked for most of the game. Now that you've seen the story behind my 18-14 stat line, you could argue about whether I suck too. What I think is undeniable is that this game was certainly not my fault. The only other half-competent person on this team besides Rogue. Look at how many characters Scrubby played just to be useless on most of them. They should have stayed Magneto or their Lord Tank pool and we maybe would have had a better chance to withstand the disgusting assault we suffered during that third point. Third of all, this game was full of mistakes from almost everyone involved. I was playing sloppily and dying for no reason sometimes. Playing White Fox into the enemy team's various poke characters wasn't optimal. Scrubby speedrunning through the whole DPS roster instead of picking a tank. Do I even need to say anything about the double ult after I reminded him not to? Rogue didn't deserve this team, and maybe we did deserve to be punished for our mistakes, but the primary reason we lost was out of anyone's control and completely undeserved. As the name of the video stated, this is absolutely the worst throw I've ever had, but quote-unquote people exhibit behaviors similar to this every day I'm on the game. It's deeply frustrating that I'm forced to queue into a game and have to depend on 5 strangers. Specimens like the loser are itching to throw a game and don't need a valid reason to give up, they just will. There's never a guarantee your quote-unquote teammates are in their right mind and actually want to win the game. Moral of the story is to find a duo because solo queue sucks. Thank you for watching and listening to me complain about my experience as someone who plays this game too much. More videos coming soon.